name is John Nickles. I'm writing a 100-year history of Emmanuel Baptist Church, and the title of the book is going to be 100 Years Serving God and Serving Man. Well, my project was a pretty simple and straightforward project. My church is having a 100-year anniversary this fall, and fall of last year, the pastor pulled me off to the side and said, we're having a 100-year history, or 100-year anniversary, and I need a history for it. So the first thing I did was negotiate with the pastor as to exactly what he needed and what he wanted, and we both decided that it would be a 250 to a 350 page book, hardbacked, and with a covered jacket cover. After we decided what the book was going to look like, I then decided how to structure the book, to get the layout of the book, to decide what I was going to write and how I was going to write it. Since it was a history of the church, the simplest thing was to dedicate a chapter to each of the 18 pastors that we've had over the years. I then decided that the most important thing after deciding the general structure of the book was to look at the specific contents of each chapter and to keep the contents of the chapters uniform, talking about a general overview of the pastor, talking about what was going on in the world and what was going on in the United States during the years that he served at the church. I then decided to talk about where he was born, what he did prior to coming to the church, his accomplishments during the church, and then what he did after the church. So the important thing for me was to first start off with a good structure of what was going on. The approach that I used in my writing was to write one chapter front to back thoroughly and then send it off to a team of 4 reviewers that were in the church. They would review it, give me corrections and changes and suggestions as to things that I could add. After that, I would go to the next chapter, so I completed the entire book in one setting. It was about a 9-month session, and then gave it to a professional editor to edit it from front to back. When we began the project, one of the first things I did was go to a professional editor and ask him about publishing. My professional editor had done this before and had some good suggestions. He looked at several online publishing organizations, but for me it was very important to have a final professional edit done by an organization that does publishing as its primary function, and as a result, Covenant Books really helped me out there. I guess the most important thing for an aspiring author is to make certain you understand your subject well and find it an inspiring and motivating subject. It's always difficult to write on something that you're having to labor at the writing. For me, the writing of the 100-year history of my home church was very interesting. It was very exciting, and I kept finding little nuggets of interesting stories that I could share with people in my Sunday school class or in my acquaintances. So having a project that's fun is a vital part of writing a book. I maintain a very active life. I'm active in the church. I teach part-time. I am a Gideon, and I would end up with periods of time where I would have to intensely work on either my classroom obligations or my Gideon obligations or my church obligations. And it was always difficult to balance personal obligations, family obligations, church obligations, and the writing. But knowing that I had a deadline and knowing that I was expected to have a product in time for this celebration helped motivate me to work when I had conflicts in my schedule. So knowing that you're doing something important, that you're doing something that matters, helps you manage your schedule. And when it gets tiring and boring and you've got conflicts, knowing that people are relying on you, knowing that people are looking for you to produce a product, helps give that motivation to get back at it and work again. So if you're an aspiring author, think how important your project is to the people that will be reading it and how much they need you to do this project. And that should help motivate you to do the work that needs to be done.